and knowing that I didn't watch Game of Thrones, do you think it's a show that I could watch without having seen Game of Thrones and still appreciate? Like, or do you think everybody need to watch all of Game of Thrones in order to appreciate what this show is?
Because
not appreciate.
Yeah, I would definitely say right now, it's better for you to just watch Game of Thrones, because this show now, this takes place, whatever it is, 200 years before Game of Thrones.
You can move.
So this brings all this speculation to us people that watch Game of Thrones. So we're trying to speculate things that are happening now. Like, we're trying to bring the two together, even though this happened 200 years before what we saw.
Yeah.
But we're trying to we're trying to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But
well, if I don't watch Game of Thrones, then I won't like this. You think these 2 episodes, from watching 2 episodes, I'll go into like, it's not a good show.
Because HBO is wow. I definitely love HBO. HBO, their production is probably how I when I wrote my first script. It's or I definitely probably didn't write my first script this way, but it's they take time into telling. They're trying to give you the background of these characters. So they definitely, HBO, all their shows will have a significant amount of episodes based on showing you the character of these people, the characters, and then they go into the story. So, this right here is,
But this one introduces new characters that are not in Game of Thrones, right? So,
right, yeah. This is 200 years before. So this is
it's a different story?
Yeah. I mean,
so
200 years
if I don't
before.
watch Game of Thrones, I can still watch this then, right? And still appreciate it for what it is? Or
and just like every time I tell people, they ask me what's my favorite shows, I'll say Sopranos for sure. That's pretty much my number 1. Number 2, Game of Thrones is pretty much my 1 or 2. I can, substitute either or, but both of those shows they go into detail, and the first couple episodes you're just wondering okay, this is where am I going? But again, in today's climate, you have that liberty to be where are we going? But before, you were just when Sopranos came out, that was whatever it was, 1998, 97. It was just a show, and if you're a mafia fan, you just gonna follow along because they're gonna get into some mafia stuff. But it didn't really get into it until 3 episodes or whatever. But Game of Thrones is definitely that first episode. I was on deployment when on deployment is it's not like jail, so I don't want to say that. But for somebody to think of it, it is like jail because you're
confined to this one space.
You're confined to one space with the same amount of people you are with for 6 to however many months, 6 to 9 months, 6 to 12 months. You're confined to that. But obviously, it's not jail, obviously. And you can have your family send you things, and what some people do, or did at that time, was you can have your family send you a zip drive or a hard drive with movies on it. So then all you do is go into your rack, your bed, plug in your hard drive or whatever, and then boom, you got whatever movies they sent you. If it's new stuff, because you're out in the middle of nowhere. And at that time when I was that was my my second deployment, and somebody was somebody that was in my command or whatever, he just started shouting stuff and I love when people reference movies and they just use it in their everyday going, and he was just shouting something. He was like, "King of the North, King of the North," and I'm like, "What the?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Game of Thrones." And he was like, "I got two." It was like at that time, the first 2 seasons was already out, so he gave me the first 2 seasons. When I went into my rack, my bed, I popped my laptop up and then clicked start on episode 1 of Game of Thrones. I think I watched 15 minutes max, probably less than that. And I turned it off. I was like, "What type of shit is this? Ain't no King of the North shit happening over here." Like, I'm like, "Oh, come on!" Like,
you got bored enough to watch it again?
It was because it was like, I guess like a lot of people haven't watched Walking Dead. So whenever I mention like, "Oh, Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows," they're like, especially, I mean, any, male and female. I'm not into zombies and shit like that. Like, I'm not into zombies, but it's way more to what, when these shows come out, they'll just like, the commercials will be like a broad thing about whatever. But so Walking Dead, they'll show you zombie, and then people just think it's zombie. Game of Thrones, they'll think it's dragons and fire. Like, you don't get that until, I don't even want to do no spoiler alerts, but you don't get that season or, episode 1. It's a build up. So
spoil here, man. As far as Game of Thrones goes, spoil here. At this point, if you ain't seen Game of Thrones, you don't want to, or you're gonna be watching.
People are, I feel like people will come around to it because it's like the storyline and the dialogue is.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. But I know you didn't answer my question. I know, but I plan on.
I danced around it.
It's cool. I mean, but I plan on like probably watching the first 2 episodes without having watched Game of Thrones, and to see how I like it. That's all. I mean, there people like they haven't watched Sopranos, but then they went and watched that Sopranos movie that came out, and then that's another thing. Like I don't know anybody that has, but I'm curious to them if that Sopranos movie, the prequel thing, was any good. Not having seen the show because sometimes you watch the show, you watch the sequel thing or watch something associated with it, and you don't like it because you're thinking about the show. Some people are watching with a fresh. Like if I go into this House of Dragon and I haven't seen Game of Thrones, I might appreciate it more or less than someone who's seen Game of Thrones, and I might look at it different. Like these people are dope, or this is dope, and to take it for what it is, separate from what Game of Thrones is, like. Who wrote people that wrote Game of Thrones that's from a book or something, right?
Yeah.
And the writer that wrote the book has he wrote books for House of Dragon? Like is this a thing that?
Oh yeah, he wrote all of this. Yeah.
Okay, so all this is his writing.
His stuff. Yeah, they're just going off of his.
Now is it like Star Wars where the prequels came out and then like they went back or is this the order he wrote the books? He wrote Game of Thrones stuff and then he went back and. No. You familiar with that at all?
I don't think it was anything like that because George Lucas, he just had that creative mindset that he wanted to make something, but obviously technology wasn't where it is at the time of him making it. But I don't think it's that because they weren't dealing with anything technological. They were just dealing with.
I was wondering the order that he put it out. Like they put the books out, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I think the books came out.
He did like Game of Thrones, and then he went back. Like
House of Dragons. I think this was like something very much. This probably was
recent.
No, I don't want to freaking speculate, but I think he already had it.
Do my research.
But then they just was like, "Oh, this would be a good idea." That's why just now, like they aired episode 1, and just off of episode 1, it was the most watched show of all time. And they instantly renewed it for season 2.
Oh, okay. House of Dragon?
Yeah.
The Dragon. House of the Dragon. Okay, all right. Dang, I put season 2 out? Or gave it that green lit that?
And again, like some of these characters, like for me, I'm like I recognize people too well. Like, and I hate that sometimes, and I love it because it's a good party trick or whatever. But there's this one dude in there. And he looks so much like this guy from Ghostbusters 2.
What's his name?
Him right there.
Right as well.
Do you remember Ghostbusters 2 at all?
Nah.
So Ghostbusters 2 was the ooze going under the town, and like, you know, when they scooped it up and put it into the toaster was all crazy and it was trying to fucking hit people. So it was like a negative energy.
All right.
But it was like, it was some painting at a exhibit, and the painting was, you know, this guy. And if you, like, when they were like going to build some sort of thing for this painting, like an area, if you looked into the painting, it'll like make you go into a trance.
All right. And you said he looked like that. He looked like that guy.
Like, I mean, you gotta go back to that picture. So save this.
Look up Ghostbusters 2.
And then look up Ghostbusters 2 Vigo.
What's Vigo?
I think that was the name of the character. That was eventually the villain in Ghostbusters 2.
$1989. The hell are we doing right there? Oh, this is. Oh, all right. So that was part 2. All right, yeah. All right, I remember.
So just like go to like whatever.
The
like
cast?
images. No, don't go to characters. Don't go to characters. Just go to images.
Like 200 damn photos here. All right, where we at?
Damn. See.
This name?
No, it's that guy right there, but it's not.
That's
not. You gotta go to a normal picture.
This one?
Yeah.
That's not him?
Huh?
That's the name of the guy?
I mean, that's the guy I'm talking about, but you know, you can't. That's all the way forward. That's when he sucked up Dan Aykroyd, so he looked like Dan Aykroyd looked like him a little bit. Yeah, right there. There you go. That's a picture.
Look at the Rogue Prince.
Man, come on, man. Tell me I'm not I should get paid for this.
Matt Smith, that's him.
Just weirdly.
That's what came to your mind when you saw him.
Bro, when I first seen him, I was like, and you know, like you asked me, did I want to, have I watched?
He looked more like the other boy that was there. He looked like his ass. All right. Sopranos one?
No. Who's that show? The show that's on now. Netflix. Freaking Stranger Things.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to watch this. You know, just see this image I get.
The boy, everybody's good in that movie, man. I mean, that's so bad. Everybody got their faculties straight.
This dude right here, dog. That's him. That may be not him. This is going to be him when he get older. And then let us, you know, 12 years from now, come back to me and I'm going to be like, dog.
12 years from now.
This got to be his dad or like uncle or something.
Because they got the non-eyebrows thing
that forehead, the eyebrows, the more hornish eyebrow area. But yeah, I just, you know, I didn't like him from the jump just because.
The character?
Yeah, and again, that's why I said, like, you know, like just being a fan of Game of Thrones and then they make a new one, and I'm like, dog, if it don't have the imp in it, if it don't have like these certain characters that I'm familiar with, like I'm not going to be drawn to it. And again, we're only on episode 2 as of now. And shoot, when Game of Thrones came out, I wasn't drawn to nobody. I took it as it was, and then I just fell in love with the characters that I liked. This guy, look at this dude.
Is she anybody from Game of Thrones? She's somebody's mom. 200. How long these people live?
200 years? No, they don't.
Oh, it's not like that. Like they don't live forever.
See, I don't want to give any speculation just in case. But it's like the only thing that's.
Oh, they never touched on that?
Huh?
They never touch on anything like that? Like how long people live? Like they don't have people that live long for a long time?
So the only thing that's like anything that's long living is in Game of Thrones, there's this one particular person that mentioned that they've been walking this earth for over 200 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a weird conundrum where, oh shoot, this person said they were, you know, around they've been doing whatever for 200 years.
Yeah.
And then this House of Dragon comes out and it's 200 years prior to Game of Thrones.
So you might see that person?
It's speculation. But that, but it's still like that's the only thing. But other than that, it's 200 years. So this is families. These families are descendants of what we come to see on Game of Thrones.
Right.
So it's like how I see this as is pretty much how I was watching Game of Thrones. It was like it's just this. The story. They're trying to introduce these characters.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if people just assume they were going to get. Obviously, like if you watch Game of Thrones, and then it's 7 seasons, and then obviously in season 7, everything is going off. So you got all of this stuff going on, and that's that. But that was 7. That was season 7. That was not season 1. Yeah. So now it's like going into this new show, House of the Dragon. It's like we're right back where we started. We gotta introduce these people. We gotta see how they're,
Yeah, as it does with the shows. That's why I was saying, like, if I just watch this, I wonder if I would appreciate it.
I think you would. It would mesh your thought process up because what's already out there is.
Well, now I'm curious. We're gonna put it to the test then.
Look, if you watch it and whatever you take from it, it'll be the same. But I think like if you watch this and then go to Game of Thrones, it's probably going to be just like you watching 2 different shows.
That's what I'm hoping. Yes. Because that's what it should be, right? I think that's what it should be. It's not a sequel. I'm just saying this show. Prequel. I think it should stand on it. Should be able to stand on its own as well as. Be connected.
No, that's what I think you gotta watch it in order that it came out.
Just like
the fact that
the Star Wars didn't come out in its own order.
But Star Wars is like they got movies. This is series. This is books told in a sequence. But I don't know if they told him that I don't know. Because this could have came out before Game of Thrones, obviously, if it's a prequel, right? But the fact that they already introduced you to Game of Thrones, going back 200 years before everything that happened.
That's what I'm saying. It should be a whole different story. Just like with the sequel, like whatever happened with, I don't know, Leia and all them. They told that story, then they went all the way back, and now they're telling a whole different story. It should be like these different chapters in life. Like, you could tell me a story that happened to you when you were like 5. I should be able to appreciate that story from the same story you told me from last night or something like that. It's its own story. I should be like, hold on, man. Nah, tell me the story back when you was 5. Then lead me up to when you was 10. Then take me to when you was 13. Then get me in there when you was 20. And then we got to make sure it all lines up. Because the people you know when you was 20, I got to know where they came from. Like, do I need to know the people you know when you was 20? For you to tell me a story about when you was 5?
If you knew my mindset at 20, that may be different than what it was at 12.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that stuff ain't even happened yet. So either way.
All the stuff that happened already.
Okay.
This is just now.
So Game of Thrones is just a big spoiler.
That's why you should watch it first.
I know.
Literally, like if you watch
spoiler
this,
but
you're gonna be like, okay, this is this show. But then you're gonna, logically know, this has something to do with Game of Thrones. That's already out. The whole hipla about Game of Thrones. But that's why I think all the hipla has already been implemented. So you got to get into that before you get into this, because then you'll get into this.
Well, that's why I want to watch it. I don't think I should have to. I shouldn't have to watch 7 years of a show in order to appreciate this show, is what I'm saying. So I am curious. It's a rare opportunity to do that, to watch.
The time difference, though. The time difference is the main factor. It's
because I would watch it as if it's a. I wouldn't even think about Game of Thrones. I wouldn't have to think about Game of Thrones. All I have to do is think about this and the merits and the shit that it brings.
If this is your first thing that you will watch of all of it, you would only be subjected to this.
Yeah, that's why I said to make sure it stand on it. If it can stand on that I think that speaks highly of the show. Is what I'm saying. I should be able to watch it. I won't watch it the same way someone else is watching it.
I'm just biased because I just know.
Yeah, because you've seen.
It's crazy. That's why I'm like, I'm watching this. So obviously, what's today? Now Saturday. Tomorrow, the 3rd episode. They just got renewed for our 2nd season. So there's, way more that we're going to get into. But I just feel like...
Oh, Sunday it comes out? Dang.
Yeah, Sundays. Everything on HBO.
Oh, it's out now. Ooh.
No, not out now.
Oh, was it Friday? Saturday? Yeah. Oh, Saturday. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Friday.
It's just like, because watching Game of Thrones, and I'm just saying, like, when I watched it, I gave it a fair shake. I said, 15 minutes, I can't take this crap. No. Like probably 2 months later, I was like, all right, let me go. And then once I, got through that first episode and was like, all right, now I'm, in this world of medieval times or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Now I'm invested. And, after the 2nd episode, man, it was just already, it was like, boom, kickstart, you're going forward. Yeah. So, I just can't see watching Game of Thrones because, I know how to, I know, just period. I just know the character is the character development.
But none of these characters are in Game of Thrones.
None.
Yeah.
These are all new people.
Good, right?
New experiences.
So what if this? I don't know. I was gonna say, what if it took place?
See, it's weird because
on another part of the world. Not even dealing with the families, but it was called Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, but it's about a whole family somewhere else.
Game of Thrones is about.
This show.
But I was just saying, just as in the summary, not even spoiling anything. Game of Thrones is about.
You already spoiled everything for me. Game of Thrones. you played all the important shows in front of me.
I'm sure, but no, it's it's about a family that holds the crown,
right.
And then there's obviously it's a kingdom.
There's political shit going on.
A lot of people that disagree with them holding that crown.
Yeah.
So then there's everybody trying to take that family down.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's basically Game of Thrones right there in a nutshell.
Right.
This is... It's so interesting because it's before, obviously 200 years before that family held that crown, but it's more so on how things led up to that family owning that crown.
Right.
So, definitely.
So Game of Thrones is a spoiler for this.
Definitely.
So why would I watch it before watching this? If it's a spoiler.
Because you just should. You should.
No, that's not a good enough reason.
I'm gonna just say you should.
Now you're trying to convince me that like.
Yeah, either way, you watch this or you watch that. I think you're gonna get the same.
They seem like two separate, entities that could be watched. I hope, because like I said, this just came out as the 2nd episode. I couldn't ask this question before it came out, but now that it's out, I'm wondering, are they separate enough that you go? Because my boy, he got a son, right? His son, and then my boy likes, Sergio, he likes Star Wars. And I asked him, I was like, did you show your son Star Wars in chronological order, or did you show him the order that they came out? He said he showed him the order that it came out. And I was like, I wonder if anybody showed their kids in chronological order. Does it matter? Because you got the Leia and Luke and all that, and Darth Vader. Then you go back to see how Darth Vader became who he was. What if someone else watched just the prequels first, and then watched the episode 4, 5, and 6 or whatever? Would it matter? Could these two trilogies stand on their own? And one thing is
I think it's more.
But I think it's I know it's movies versus a show, but I'm just saying from what I've heard, this show can stand on its own, and this is a story that we're going to be telling encapsulated here. And then Game of Thrones is a story. The OG, original Game of Thrones is a story that was encapsulated on its own. You can watch them separate.
No, right.
And mentally, it'll come. If you're watching both, they'll come together in some way.
You're not wrong.
I'm not saying nostalgia for watching this. Yeah. From people who've seen Game of Thrones and the appreciation of just the world and the characters.
Yeah.
And maybe some, I don't know if there are any Easter eggs. You watch Game of Thrones, you recognize something in this because you watch Game of Thrones, but it is the past. They're somebody's wearing a medallion that might have been passed on through the family or something like that type of thing.
I've seen something online that they showed something and I was like, I don't watch any Easter egg crap.
Yeah, but that's the only other thing that like,
you would see.
But
no, it's because the main thing is this is 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I'll really say at the end of it is just like, you listening to, I don't know, like what was the Chronic, Dr. Dre's The Chronic.
Yeah.
And then you listen to, what did he put out lately? I don't know, like some newer stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you listen to his new stuff without listening to his old stuff, you kind of wouldn't know what how did he get here? Like, what was the process? But if you watch the new and then go to the old, then you'll be like, oh, I see how it, just just filling in the blank.
So would it matter which order you listen to?
I think it did. I think that.
So you would rather listen to the newest stuff first and then go back and listen to the old stuff?
I would no. I'm saying I would rather listen to the old stuff first and then go to the new. Like, all right, this is.
So you would have rather have watched House of Dragon than Game of Thrones?
No,
because House of Dragons happened 200 years before Game of Thrones.
The way that they put it out, I would rather watch. Game of Thrones.
I mean, you can't put out old music in second.
Hey,
you can't put out old music second.
This world is this world. So
now Dr. Dre put out an album. His latest album was, all right, y'all, I'm putting out this latest album. This is music I did back when I first was doing music. Would it matter what order you are? Like, I mean, could you just, if someone was like, who's Dr. Dre? Well, he just put out this album that was from music he did way back in the day. Listen to that. Would you go listen to that, or would you say listen to the music from like a few years ago? And then come back and listen to this.
I know what you're saying, and it's the same.
Because it's they both should stand up on their own and hold their own thing. Cause I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
I just think
I know people.
It's differences. It's just like when DMX made it's what was it? Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Right.
When he made that, and then going forward to like whatever his like the latest one was, I'm like, the people that just got that don't know the impact of how Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood was. Like, at the time, at the it was just everything. Like, and whatever he made after that, I was gonna buy. Like, it didn't matter if it sucked or not. If people didn't like it, I just was already like, I'm a fan. But I just feel like Game of Thrones was just so much of a hit that even though they made a prequel, I feel like you just for your own self, it will help you out better knowing. And again,
but I think that's the genius of it a little bit, because I think them making it a prequel allows people who didn't watch Game of Thrones, who might have missed it, like, 7 years, I'm not trying to catch up. Or maybe I can watch this, and if I like this, then go back and watch it. That's the genius of making it a prequel, because if it was a sequel, then it's like, oh, I'm not watching that either, because I gotta watch those shows, and then I can be able to catch up to this. And I think that's the genius of it, because I wouldn't care to watch this if it was like after Game of Thrones. I'm like, why would I jump in here? I gotta go back and watch all of the Game of Thrones. This, I'm like, all right, it's a brand new show. Let me hop on this and see like if it can stand on its own.
Yeah.
And if I like it, maybe I'll go back to the Game of Thrones and watch that too. I mean, I think I like that I have this opportunity to do it in that order. Like if I just was like learning about Star Wars, I'd be like, damn, do I want to watch the way it came out, or do I want to watch it in order, like of the way that it was written, I guess, or whatever, that the story is being told. Like even with because I mean like with Marvel shit, I think Dimitri was saying that he's watching the Marvel shows in like the chronological order or something like that, and then like I think, and then him and his mom was like watching them when the way they came out and stuff, and I'm like, I wonder how that is to watch it in chronological order instead of just watching it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's a way different feeling.
But each story in each movie can stand on their own. So House of Dragons should be cool to stand on their own.
Right.
And I understand, then like, because I mean, the first person I've asked or anything like that, but I understand that people are like, gotta watch Game of Thrones first, because 7 years of not you, but like 7 years of people's lives have been in this show. They have that nostalgia in them. They're like, well, you gotta have it so you can appreciate. You can't say the characters because it's 200 years. None of your characters in Game of Thrones are in this. they're not talking about the same thing. The goals aren't the same. The stories aren't the same. I mean, I don't even know if the dragons are the same, but is the family names might be the same or something like that. But like a last name or something like that might be the same. But like
that whole time frame is all about.
Is that why Godfather 3 was bad? Wasn't that like a prequel? I didn't see Godfather 3. But
yeah.
The first two were just like first they were, and then the third one was like before the first one or before the second one.
I didn't watch 3. I didn't watch 3.
Oh, you want to? Okay. We're gonna get canceled because of that.
But it's just definitely like, you know, is more of just, you know, my personal beliefs is, and I'm somebody that at the time was stubborn. I didn't have no shows where I watched stuff that was in medieval time. I didn't care for it. That's why I only watched the first 2 episodes or the first episode for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, you know, after allowing it, just like, all right, look, let me just let it go and let's see where we go. Yeah. It definitely took me to somewhere where I never was before. So that's why I would probably say, like, for somebody that never watched it, if you are into or not into, like, you know,
I do like
medieval
fantasy
time.
Yeah.
Well, but medieval. It's medieval because, you know, everything is not like Game of Thrones. Whenever, like, obviously now you see House of Dragon, like it's in the title.
Yeah.
You're assuming you're going to see a freaking dragon the moment the credits roll.
Right.
Game of Thrones is obviously you don't have that in the title, but you have no choice but to just, you know, see what they're going to portray. And I forget the time gap. See, it's just so much in Game of Thrones. That's why it's like you know, obviously I love this show, but just it's just so much in that show that when you start thinking about it and then thinking about 200 years before what we all watched and witnessed, all of that stuff is myth. You know, it's like 200 years, just to anybody. 200 years is, what is that? That's like, you know, you're so say you were born. That's your, like your great, like, all the way up there. Shit that ain't got shit to do with you, like, unless you were somebody that, like, you know, say somebody like left you, you know, in your lineage, they left you a castle, and you're just reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah,
that's kind of, you know, whatever. But it's just, I don't know. It's just it's so much invested into Game of Thrones character development that I'm like, oh, that's the best show ever.
How many times have you seen it? Have you seen it more than 3 times?
Probably 4 or 5.
Okay. How many times have you seen Sopranos?
Probably the same.
Watching
Sopranos. Oh man, I swear to you, you would love Sopranos. I'm gonna just say that just off.
A lot of shows I was like late to the game, like Dexter was one that was a hit, and I was late to that. I just stumbled upon it because my mom was watching it, and like I'm sitting there like doing stuff, and she was watching in the background. I'm like, what is it? And I'm like listening, and I'm just going back and watching it.
You've been watching it.
The Breaking Bad. I was out here doing my like scouting before I moved out to LA. I was like at Nicole's place, and her roommate was watching it, and then I was like, oh, I never seen this. She's like, you never seen this? It's like, well, I got right back to the beginning. I'm like, you ain't gonna take it back to the beginning of school. She's like, no, we're gonna watch it from the beginning. I was like, all right. So I'm just sitting there, and she put on like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I got hooked, and then I binged it like 3 or 4 days or something like that. I just never had that opportunity with this. I never like had the chance to sit down and like watch it. I was like, and then like 3 years passed, but I'm not going back to watch it. I don't care about it that much. It's cool. If the people love it, I'm happy that they love it. That's all. You know
I think you would gain, you know.
From what I've seen, it is interesting. It just people started just like pushing it on me and just playing episodes and parts of it. And I'm like, all right, now I don't really care because I don't like spoilers. But like, are you spoiling the red wedding? You spoiling the ending for me? You spoiling this? I'm like, all right,
the fact that
I don't care no more. So
that was like a big deal at the time. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sure it looked like it would be the whole thing. Like the end of the way episode 1 ended, young boy getting pushed out the window. People was like tripping about that because it's like, who does that? And then when you start killing off main characters, those main that's why which one was like The Walking Dead was like that. We're like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you killing our people?
They survived like a few. They definitely survived a few episodes, if not the whole first season. I don't think anybody died in that first season.
What?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
But yeah, no, it definitely just
like you don't know who gets taken.
HBO will. That's why I like them. They will let you know these characters. They will build them up, and then when you get invested in a character is no longer there, and you're like, bro, so the show is over, right? And then nope,
yeah,
there's more.
Yeah.
So
and I found all that interesting and intriguing, and like I wanted to watch it, and then like I said, I was like, I ain't have time to catch up, and I didn't have the resources to watch it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Streaming was streaming even a thing? No, streaming wasn't a thing when it first that's like new, isn't it?
Well, this was definitely
because Netflix. What was Netflix doing?
2010,
Netflix was still mailing DVDs when that came out, right?
Well, it was one of the first shows. The first series on Netflix was from one of the characters that was on Sopranos. Mm-hmm. And if you watch it right now on Netflix, it is a...
I mean, Game of Thrones. I was talking about Game of Thrones.
Okay, well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, just Netflix, period. Just, how, whenever you click Netflix is... that bullshit. But when that show came out, was the first series ever on Netflix. Is from one of the characters from Sopranos. And that shit was super weird when you look at it. But
what the fuck is this thing? So, thoughts on the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon?
It's definitely how I seen the first episode of Game of Thrones. Definitely like it's.
Oh, you was bored in the first 15 minutes and turned it off, and then came in.
No. Bro, I could have turned it off, but I'm just like, I'm.
Oh, was it slow? Was it slow into?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying like because
you got to get to know the characters.
So many HBO shows that I like. It's almost like I just know it. They're gonna have these first 3 or 4 episodes on character development, just character like introducing you to these people.
Yeah.
And like you just have to bear through that. But once you bear through it,
as well, or
it's just so much.
Okay.
Without because little things will just give out a lot of information about the show. But just
I don't mind hearing about it.
But it's just like
just trying to get your overall views and stuff on it.
Yeah, no, it's like the climate today, I guess. With this show, with House of Dragon, obviously this was 200 years before Game of Thrones. And then with Game of Thrones, the whole thing is about, obviously, just like in today's climate, they will never allow a woman to be the ruler of anything. So 200 years ago, this girl is like she's in line, she's the heir.
Right.
And she's a girl, and the father
just her right here.
Yeah, the father didn't have any sons, and he is the brother. So technically, he's the heir.
Yeah,
but they would make him the heir until the king creates a son, and then obviously the son would be the heir to the throne. Things obviously don't work that way for them, but that's then 200 years prior.
Yeah.
So then you fast forward to Game of Thrones, they will never be a woman, blah blah blah, and then Khaleesi.
Yeah,
that's like it's that 200 years of them telling motherfuckers a woman will never be, and then a woman becoming.
So it sounds to me, really, you keep building a case for me watching this first, then watching Game of Thrones.
You want to watch it in your...
But I already know the ending of Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
But see, that beautiful part of is so much in between. Like, again, just like I said, like I know you will like Sopranos because I just know, like, characters. We love how, just like on Martin.
Yeah. Me knowing the ending ain't gonna stop me from.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but like the meat and potatoes of it is just is so much more to it, and that's even saying because a lot of people, which is I find kind of stupid, because when a show comes out, the show is the show. Yeah. They are the people that made it. They are the people that dictated the way it's gonna go, all of that. So I don't have no say. Like, you know, I hated when Martin went off. I felt like Martin, them motherfuckers we deserved 10 seasons of Martin, but we didn't get that. But no. You know, obviously, whatever. But with that show, Game of Thrones is so much in the middle of obviously the end and now the beginning, because the beginning now is like all of this is just kind of just like, what's that shit, like powdered sugar. We already know powdered sugar. Game of Thrones, you know that there was never a female that held this title. And you know, this girl's trying to come back to reclaim her family's royal oats or whatever. And obviously there's so much opposition.
Well, look, okay.
But, you know, then, you know, you go back 200 years and you just find out, damn.
Let me ask you this. I am curious. I mean, not to, you know, I ain't trying to look at you as the know-it-all of Game of Thrones, but do they ever speak of this time? Like, what I'm saying, I guess what I wonder, and what I am wondering, and I guess I don't wonder to an extent, but like, do they ever speak about this time,
that specific time,
to a point where you know what's going to happen at the end of this season? Because they could still hit you with a twist that maybe no one knew in the future. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier.
Because that is a possibility, right?
There's some inklings of it.
Because I mean, 200 years between 200 this and then 200 years and then Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
history could be blurred and smeared and lies, and you know what I mean. So you might, whatever happened in Game of Thrones, whatever they spoke about that happened in the past, could not be fact.
So I know
unless they've already said that like certain things that they put out there has not been the real story, and then now they're giving you the real story.
See, I know you're gonna watch it on your own leisure.
Yeah.
So the only thing that is out there that ties them together right now, and it's definitely like a lot of people, I've seen so many comments on it.
Like speculation and stuff.
Yeah, so is a witch in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a 200-year-old person or whatever they want. Yeah.
You know, but all right, so you have her, and she says, you know, I think something happened, and she was like, somebody was like, I just wish you would die, and then like it all, some like she said something about like, you know, for 200 years people have been wanting me to die, but God, basically, aka that's not what they use, but God did not want that, and this lady is basically saying she's been walking this earth for 200 years.
Right. Okay.
So when you go back to this show now obviously you're trying to, us as people that watch the show, you're trying to put stuff like, hopefully something could connect.
That's a genius of the show,
but it's super,
man.
like, right? But it's so 200 years is such a long time.
Yeah.
What could connect? Like nobody was alive, but then you have this person,
right?
And her story was like, her mother was a slave, and then she was a slave. So that kind of etches out this theory of who they think this. Because in that show, you know, you see in the main character. Oh, I guess I don't know if she's the main character. But the girl, she's a young girl.
Yeah,
she has she has a young friend, and her friend is a little redhead girl. Obviously, in the new, in Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, this witch is a redhead that says she walked this earth 200 years.
That's the friend right there?
That's the friend. Okay. But the friend is, she's her friend, but the king, the girl.
The blonde haired
yeah. Her dad is the king, and,
you don't like her? She a peasant?
No, obviously she's like super, and oh my gosh, you go back to this brother here with dreadlocks, You know how much hate mail he got from like being casted on this show?
Yeah, I was trying to. I ain't want to really get into all that.
But that's why I loved it. That's why I'm like, oh,
racism is killing me inside. But yeah,
they said like literally like somebody posted some shit like, man, you will allow dragons and magic.
Oh, the boy, wasn't it him? I think it was him, wasn't it? He wrote they was talking about it on what did it say? Yeah, well, others like something about believing or yeah, I know. It's like the dragon. Oh, you're gonna have the dragons in there, but
idea
you can fathom all these dragons, but you can't fathom a person of color being like,
man, it's just super wild. But the world we live in. But again, and
in a fantasy show,
he's taking it in stride, and I'm like, this show obviously has my full support because I'm a Game of Thrones fan, right. So I'm going to learn this, whatever these people. He's a character, like he's portraying somebody, but it's just cool, like that. That's the only tie, like
Is this in here? Now. That's the same guy.
No, that's somebody. That's a different.
Okay, I'm about to say.
And look, that's another.
Is this him? Steve Toussaint?
No, I don't even think that's him.
The one on the road.
Got a bunch of blood. Because the first, Game of Thrones. I will definitely tell you, Game of Thrones had one black brother in it.
Who? Aquaman?
No, he's not black. Who was it? My man, this African guy. He played in a lot of movies too, but he was like a freaking pirate. Nothing to nobody, and of course, his role came and went. Nobody spoke nothing of him being in it, but obviously,
what they had a problem with
this ruffles feathers.
What, they had a problem with this?
With him being in the show, period. Just period. Like, it's almost just like, when Eddie talked about coming to America. He said, like, whatever it was, some people from Africa got on him about making a movie about somebody from Africa. And he was like, bro, I'm making a movie. I'm bringing light to, like, because you weren't going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
But,
But
Game of House of Dragons is definitely, in a nutshell, it's supposed, because when Game of Thrones came out, there were, like, everything was myth. Everything was, there's no Night Walkers. That's the story they tell people. Yeah. And, there hasn't been a Night Walker in 1,000 years. And then dragons. There's no such thing as dragons. But then this girl got 3 dragon eggs, and they're like, oh, these are cool things to have, but you could probably sell them for, money or whatever. Yeah. But she didn't. She felt like, I need to be close to these, and then blah. But, everything was all myth until shit started getting. But, and again, Game of Thrones just, they do this character build up. You watch it a lot of episodes where it's talk. And then it's just straight bam. Now you got this, you got that going off, you got that. And then now we need to know how it was before all of that. In that show, Game of Thrones, there was only 3 dragons. House of Dragons is supposed to have 12 total.
Supposed to have 12. Yeah. Shit. Speaking of Eddie, I was going to ask you.
We went in really deep into.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I know you can get in them Game of Thrones. I was because my whole thing, I'm hearing about. I know it's a good show. Well, clearly, I mean, the merits of what it's done speaks in volume. But I was wondering who you think are like top 3 underrated. Yeah, like maybe underrated actors. I think we was talking before, and I brought up John Leguizamo, like because of his range, and like a lot of people don't even know. And then it's like, I say underrated. I don't hear a lot of I don't hear a lot of like
that name.
Talk,
that
Leguizamo.
Who?
Yeah. But yeah. Are there any that come to mind? Type of thing.
That front
of the underrated.
Oh man.
Like maybe they haven't won like Oscars or something like that. But do you think like is?
You got John. You got man.
I think of I know it just sprung going. I was like something we had brought up before.
And still, even trying to think of it, I'm like, it's so hard.
Actresses too. I don't know. Good.
I would say for sure who we didn't see becoming the person that they became, Regina King.
Oh, Regina King.
She surpassed whatever milestones that was set for the character that she played in Poetic Justice. Like that was just like
she took over 227.
That's prime rib right there. That girl played a hood rat chick, and we knew, like you literally knew this was. Yeah, she's just playing this. This is the end of her career. She's not gonna go. What is she gonna do after this?
Then she did this. Shit. But she what do you call it? Oh yeah, I don't know if she's underrated though. I think she get all her flowers nowadays.
Who talks about her?
Yeah, we'll talk about her. But
like the name, when you talk about, I mean,
she was 227 all the way back in the day. Dang.
But a lot of yeah. See,
well, she was that movie with the cowboy movie. How harder they fall. That's my shit. And then before that, she was in the Watchmen series that came out. But yeah,
and now you see her in like.
Damn, she's 50.
Capital One commercial, whatever the freak it is.
For real? What's the Capital One?
Visa.
Oh, I know.
Probably Visa or something like that. But no, she's definitely out there. But
I think they were gonna say Regina Hall. I think so. Let's say her first. She got some range on her too.
I mean, her range goes far as well. But Regina, that name you can't have a Regina King, Regina Hall. They
Jerry Maguire,
damn chick.
Friday, Boys in the Hood. Anyway, the State. She playing a lot of wives.
Boondocks.
Daddy Daycare. What the hell? Poetic Justice. She's in Poetic Justice.
That's what I said.
Oh, all right. We said she was.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. Oh, that was her first. All right. Why did I think? What the hell? Bill Street
the truck with old. What was that, Guy Tory or Joe Tory? Joe.
Man, don't have me lying. You talking about the light skin boy? The curly hair?
No, the black boy. Joe Tory or Guy Tory?
Tory. Yeah, Joe Tory.
Joe. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you
go. He was the male. Well, no, was Tupac the male driver?
Yeah, he was driving. And then,
he was his friend.
He was driving.
Yeah.
But he was talking to that scene.
Joe was his friend, and then they brought Janet and Regina with them.
Right.
And Joe was back there banging over Regina. Man, yeah, early days is
Poetic Justice.
The title was just still too strong. Super strong.
Michael Collier was in it?
Michael Collier. He got a nice joke about colored people. He performed outside, I think in Venice Beach. Saying you punch somebody white in the face, they turn red. This person, they turn blue. This person, they turn green. It's like black people, the only people that don't turn no color. We just stiff up or some shit. I forgot what he said.
Who else? Give me another one more. We need one more.
I like old boy Boyega. What's his name?
John Boyega.
Ah.
I wanted
Did you see that new preview?
That's our preview. I was going to watch it tonight.
Sounds just like Denzel. I think he studied Denzel for that role.
I think when I was watching him in the Star Wars movie, I was like, he got little Denzel mannerisms there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The little taps.
That preview that I see
studying about just Denzel
robbing that bank. You say you know.
You plan on watching it?
Huh?
You plan on watching it?
Hell yeah. just because of the fact I see him like portraying Denzel.
That's Denzel right there. That's Denzel right there. That's him.
You deny my son a heart, like
Denzel with the fucking shoulder.
The gun just be bouncing and shit.
Oh,
everybody.
Shit, that's Denzel right there.
Oh, John Q. What was the line? He was like, "My son,
my son."
Hey, when he got shot in fucking Boogie Eli Dog, I was like, somebody actually shot his ass because he got shot and went down and
And what? And John Q?
No, Boogie Eli.
Oh, Boogie Eli. Oh yeah.
He got shot and then he fell to the ground, but he had the gun holding him up on the ground, and he was. But then it was like
Then he got back up. With
he got up and was like acting like nothing happened. He was.
I ain't gay. Like you want to do it again?
Motherfucker, we just shot you. I can see you.
She got up. He just. Oh, you gonna have to. You gonna do better than that. Shit.
Gun holding him up though. The little things, dog. It just be.
That's D. That's D.
Man, too deep. Start getting the growls and the snarl and.
Well, hear about this? What this? You hear about this, Joe? This blonde, the Marilyn Monroe. Shit, not that. Damn, none of these.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta find it. But yeah, is the story about Marilyn Monroe?
Nah.
Well, not story, but good story. You hear anything about it? 2022, blonde? No. Ana de Armas.
No, I'm just interesting because it was some girl, when I was stationed in Key West, there was this old, decrepit white lady just walking around Key West that was super banged, super banged up. They were like, "Oh, did you know that's Marilyn Monroe's sister?" Blah blah blah. So it was like a whole myth about this old lady walking around Key West that's Marilyn Monroe's sister, and that's actually Marilyn Monroe. And all types
Is this
of
actually
shit.
Marilyn Monroe? What the hell? All right.
But no, I didn't see anything about that. But just living in Key West, it would be cool to see if I can get some info on
that lady.
Her.
Who the hell?
If that. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just a lie. This person is not related to her." But then again, you never know how America likes to hide their victims.
Well, clearly. But speaking of Key West, clubs and such.
Oh.
It's clubbing out there. I know you was doing some partying out there. You did some partying out here. You seen the because you had brought this up earlier. You was like, have you noticed any differences in the clubs here or the clubs today than the clubs when we were younger, maybe coming up, stuff like that? Like what be going on? Because I know last time I go out and I like to dance. Yeah. So through the years, I've been going to the clubs and I've been dancing. So that's what I mainly remember a lot. So it's like, we have stories from the past. And we got stories from today, but I just know I go there to dance.
Yeah.
So I might miss out on other stuff that might be going on until it gets into my vicinity of dancing. I know one thing that I see that I know has been a major contrast. Well, one, these clubs been closing earlier than they used to, because we used to get out of some of these mugs, be like the after hour, it'd be like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
About walking and
I'm sure there are classier spots. They got like the hookah spots that might stay open until 4 or 5, and there are probably some classier clubs that would stay open that late. But I'm talking about we in like the heart of the city in Philly, and it's like 4 o'clock. The walls are sweating. Like they still might be serving drinks. I don't know if they're supposed to be, but like we just like back room basement. These are like young clubs too, where there was no alcohol at the clubs.
No, and we were dancing so we were sweating all of that. And our clothes would always be wet. As soon as the club was over, we was in the club like falling asleep on the wall.
I remember that. There. So, oh my gosh, I remember Mark Brown. One of our buddies, Mark Brown. He would sometimes he would hold the jackets. One time he was like over in the corner, and I like, yo, let me get my jacket. And like, you gonna be like right here? He like, yeah. Like, you gonna be like right here? He like, yeah, I ain't going nowhere. And then like, he just in the corner, so I just rolled my jacket up and like sat down and slid down the wall and just threw the. I put it backward and threw the hood on my face and just like went to sleep in the corner. I was tired as hell, and I was like, then I heard like, you know, the thumping of the music. When you get down on the ground, if you ever been to a club, like. If you need to communicate, we like come up with ways to communicate with each other and shit. Like, I'll be like, if you press and hold your ear, you can hear the person talking better because like all the music sound isn't going in there. It's like a little trick we learned. So we just talk to girls and stuff like that. We're like, yo, just hold your ear. And then I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, and you ain't got to be yelling and trying to. But then, or you could like, you wouldn't want to go down low with the girl. But like, if you kneel down, you can have a conversation down there because everybody's body's moving up top is absorbing the music. So when you're down here, it's like you can't really hear it. Anyway. Yeah. I got on the floor through the hoodie on me, backwards with the hood on my face and stuff, and I was just like laying there, and I was like, all right, long as Mark Brown. I put my foot like on his sneaker so I could feel if he moved or something like that. Then I would get up, and he wasn't really moving. I felt him moving a little bit, like maybe he's tapping his foot to the beat. But then I fell asleep, and then I woke up and I was like, and he wasn't there, and I was like, where the hell where'd he go? And then I was like, all right, and people like I hadn't been touched. I was like, all right, anything thinking about.
See, you ain't worried about that shit back then, though.
Because you come in the club, you know what the vibe is. You look at everybody in the eye, you might know because some of the motherfuckers in there. Oh. But then I get up and I go to y'all, and I'm like, yo, y'all seen Mark, man? He's like, no. Y'all was like, no. First of all, I got up and Coach was on the floor. I don't even remember that night. Coach was on the floor, yeah. Now when y'all seen Mark, I'm like, is this y'all? I don't know if any of this is y'all. Like, cause I'm like, yo, and then. You're like, why you got my shit on the floor? I remember J Mike, I ain't got my shit on the floor. And said, I was like, I don't know we have that. Yeah, but he was all right there that night. Oh. And then he left.
We got left by Mark.
So we ain't have an option. We ain't have an option to have the money to get back and nothing like that.
Man, so. I guess we gotta walk.
Yeah, I understand these walks, man. I can't even give you like from where to where as far as walking because everybody lives in different places.
Still,
but you would hop on a highway
and you in the club with your t-shirt on, and sometimes we had long sleeves, but we sweated the hell out of them. And then imagine 4 or 5 kids walking with their arms inside their shirt. That was the most. You know,
I always wear my jacket though. Y'all be tripping.
Oh yeah, you always be cold, but that had to be, bro. That had to be 15 miles.
15 miles
from dances to City Hall. Yeah, because that's where we caught the 11 or 13, and then depending on if it was like we not staying at somebody's crib, so then we gotta like, cause you know it would be like
because it would be one trolley or a train or something we can get in for free at that time of day
because the
doors be open whatever
on break or some shit you just hop over it.
Yeah,
I mean we statute of limitations.
You said 15 miles or blocks? What'd you say?
15 miles. Bro,
and then you get on that thing and when we got off the trolley we'd have to walk a little bit more.
We doing all of this by the time we get to our houses it's like daybreak and shit.
I mean, Jay Mike used to sleep a lot on the trolley ride.
Oh, man.
He need the energy to get there. I'm like, you the first one there?
Walking and sleeping. That probably was the first time I was.
Oh no, I was the first one that kind of dropped off. Whatever. My house was the closest. So clubs nowadays versus then though, like inside the club, like the vibe and stuff like that. There's a lot of stunting going on. A lot more stunting going on than it was back in the day. A lot more standing on the walls and. Just like looking too fresh and just standing there. A lot of standing around going on. You know, maybe I'm going in the wrong spots. I need to go. Let me know some places I can go to in California or LA area.
Well,
Southern California. So I can dance and shit.
People to comment in post in the comment section. What's your favorite nightclub, night lounge
to dance? I ain't trying to lounge. I'm trying to dance.
Night dance.
Yeah.
Club.
Get some places dance club.
And you just go right into it. You come in there, you just paid your money, and you instantly sweating.
And that place is nice too. And they got like a dress code, and you know, I'm like, yo, man, it's worth every penny. I think I like it a lot.
I love dress code. You know, growing up, get back there. You know, when we was young,
dress codes, man.
Dress codes will dictate the type of people that come into your establishment.
Like the places we were talking about when I'm sleeping in the corner and stuff like that. These old, you come in that spot like that, they don't give a dress code. You come in with Tim's and a t-shirt.
Your gun had to be uncocked. That was the dress code. Your gun had to be uncocked. You can have it cocked.
As long as your gun is uncocked.
Uncocked.
But yeah, you come in there and then you get patted down, do the all right. And you go in, you go down steps into this basement, and this lady selling like $20 waters to the kids. So between $2 to $5, I don't know, whatever they wanted to make up, I guess at the time. And then remember, like, if you don't go down the steps and you go straight, like mom's just cooking kitchen over here. I'm like cooking chicken. Somebody cooking plates of chicken and stuff like that for you. I was like, what the? Somebody mom is in there just cooking chicken, and then you go downstairs, little dance room. I guess was it a DJ? I guess it was a DJ maybe somewhere in there.
That shit was a front. They probably was selling fucking kilos out of that damn place.
People getting rub downs on the side.
And here we go.
I got a little rub down. I got a little rub down one time. I had these sweatpants on. We gotta get out of here, y'all. I got stains on my leg. I don't know what she wasn't wearing no drawers. She left stains and crusts all on my. We had to get the fuck out of it. People stepping on your shoes. I ain't care about stepping on my shoes. Because my shoes wasn't good. But shit, speaking of stepping on shoes, one thing, it still annoys me when people... it's my little pet peeve at the club. When you stand somewhere and then someone like comes and then like they'll stop and stand right in front of you. Male or female. They stand like just right in front of you and just had their butt all up. I'm like, what is going on here? What are you doing? He says, man. I'm like, what's happening? Why is my space? It's like we ain't at a concert. Can you like? But I guess sometimes there's nothing you can do. I try to be optimistic, but
3 feet just so they can be able to like, if they got a person with them, they can turn around, point at them, go back to what they're doing.
You give them that 3 feet, they just gonna do.
And then I'm like, all right, he's about to pay. They about to move aside. Then I'll scooch up a little bit as they're leaving. Those people that like go nut to butt on you and shit. Hell, my man. Like, this ain't even the type of party you want. Like, don't.
Same type of party you want.
Like, don't ride me. Yeah. This is not that. But they. Oh.
But speaking of pet peeves, you got any weird pet peeves? Because I've been having one recently. I spoke to some people about. I guess it might be weird. I've been going to like the mall over here, and they got escalators and stuff. So yeah, when you get on the escalator, and people just like stand there as it like goes up. I like because if it's a escalator, like I get on it and I walk up. Cause like to me, it's like it's helping me get to where I need to go faster.
Oh, you mad at people that?
But no, I'm not. I ain't mad at them. I'm saying it's a pet peeve. It's just it's me. It ain't them. Yeah. No, I'm just like, all right. I know that's what people do. They stand there. I like to keep walking, so sometimes I'll just like, excuse me. Like I don't like when like they try to like take the whole space up and just be standing there. I'm like, excuse me, mind if I try to? But if it's like a gang of people lined up, I'm like, all right, let me just. Like the thing at the airport, when people step on that, the little tram. I don't know what that thing is moving. It's to help you get to where you got to go faster. It's not rest time and like time to take a break and check your phone. But yeah, of course, for some people it is. For me, it's not. I'm saying for me, it's not time for me to take a break. It's for me to it's helping me get to where I got to get to faster. That's all. So I don't know. That's like a weird pet peeve of mine.
Sometimes I have that.
You seem to not agree.
No, sometimes I definitely feel that. But I can understand it from the plane because motherfuckers' bearings are all off. They're like, oh, I'm on a different time, schedule, blah blah blah. But one of my biggest pet peeves that I definitely see on a daily is people like passengers of cars.
Car pet peeve. Oh goodness.
Just they got their feet up in the window, up there. Dog. I'd be like, dog. As soon as you fold it, there's no coming back from that. You are going to get folded. And I'm like, dog, why does these people keep doing this? And then I'm like, you ain't got cute feet to be doing that to begin with. Now you got these old bunion feet. Up in the dash. Now they stuck. Now they got to get the jaws of life to unbox your ass because you're going to get turned into a box.
What is it about the feet being in the window, though?
It's just because I know, like, it's just, I don't know. Some people just, it's just like people that, if you ever see people sit down on a couch and then they fucking cross it. They'll tuck their leg under them and then sit on the leg. Like, dog.
That bothers you too?
Don't put your feet on the couch. You just outside. This is where we sit. We don't need your seasoned feet on the goddamn.
Every time I pet or touch any animal, a cat, dog, turtle, anything, this is fish, then I gotta like wash my hands before I start doing other stuff like eating and stuff like that. So I see people, and like I said, it ain't the person. I can't get upset. People do what they want. My brain just operates with like people like pet dogs and be rubbing them something, then they just go like start making food and stuff. I'm like, ah. But it's just me. It's just
no, yeah.
I don't know if that's called a pet peeve. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's something. I don't know.
Look, and I know I've definitely been saying a lot of shit on Cali, but I definitely like Cali. I like the views that we have here. Some of the people, a lot of homegrown people, but what is this shit with these single women and dogs, though? Like, it's just single women here is like they just know that when they get a dog, the dog is going to be there no matter what. And that no matter what is any goddamn time. They don't want no motherfucking man around. So I say all of that to say another one of my pet peeves is women that let their dog sleep in the bed with them while there's company over.
Well, I mean, men and women, or just anybody, right? Or you're just saying just women who live them?
Like I dealt with somebody that like they let their dog sleep in the bed while we were in the bed, and the dog would be under the covers.
Ooh, under the covers. See, now I was thinking if I had a dog and I was single, and I am single, but like I had a dog, I was single, and I had my own place, I probably wouldn't mind my dog sleeping on my bed. I think me being me, like weird how I am, it'd be like a comforter or something thrown at the bottom of the bed that the dog can get on and sleep under my damn covers. No. There's like a hierarchy that gotta be, the dominance that has to be. That I'm just get itchy. That's my thing. I don't know anything. I'd be getting itchy.
I never was allergic to any animal at all. But definitely, like, this process of, like, how people, then you got those people that like to kiss their dogs and shit.
Yeah.
And they, like, sticking their lips out to kiss you as you leave. Like, oh.
Everything with doing the whole tongue thing and everything with the dog.
Oh. See, all of that is just unnecessary.
You've seen that before, right?
I've seen it, but it's like,
I ain't knocking nobody. Do you?
Oh, I'm a knock.
It's not for me, though. I'm a knock.
That shit is disgusting.
It's not for me.
And you go out in the world. This is how monkey's pox got spread.
Oh, God. Here we go with the monkey pox.
Kissing your dog and then going to kiss your date. You tell them good night and shit.
And now they got monkey pox.
Get that pox.
I don't know what's going on with the schooling and stuff like that nowadays. Mm-hmm. But I only see, because I don't have any kids, but I only see what I see in kids and stuff like that coming through.
Kids are way more growner than we were.
Yeah, you have. If we had just this, like we had just the information, all the answers at our fingertips back in the day. Nowadays I don't even. I've been like, why are y'all even in school right now? Like, what is going on? Like, graduate. You can graduate from the University of YouTube nowadays and shit. I know a lot of people going into being like streamers and trying to be gamers and stuff like that. I remember when that started blowing up, when esports started blowing up, and a lot of parents were getting upset with it, like, why the fuck are you on your computer all day? And some parents was accepting it, like, no, they go esports and they make a lot of money. And we heard this one kid won $50,000, another one won $1 million, and so he can do that. Like that shit wasn't going on back when we was growing up, playing some video games and like, get your ass outside. It was all about outside. That's all I got. The only other thing he had on here was talking about Harlem Nights. Who could have played
Richard?
Richard Pryor. I know I said Bernie when he was alive, but
Bernie would play Red.
He'd be better for that
said 6
type of character.
Oh, look at that 7. I said 7. Had something in mind. Get the fuck out there. Everything was snappy.
Who would play Eddie's part then? Oh, I mean, we wouldn't. Are we recasting Harlem Nights? Yeah. Or are you talking about a sequel? Because if it's a recasting,
well, I think it would be a sequel.
Okay.
So obviously their plans was to move out of that town. They were talking. I forgot where they said it.
Oh, so Eddie would take over Richard's part. I don't know if you could you get all of them in there, man? I wouldn't want it to be no egos, man. If it wasn't no egos and stuff like that, and people come with
way more,
yeah, they could just if they would just come together, like Cat Williams, Kevin Hart, Chappelle, Della Reese. I was. Yeah, I think her or the one that what's the name that Dale Hughley was getting on. She was she played Della Reese's part in the Pastor Courvoisier video. The one that had her own TV show is her and her daughter.
Monique.
Yeah, damn, why can't I think of her name? Monique. Nah. You gonna say Lizzo, nigga? I don't know. She's a singer, right? Lizzo. She don't act, right? Does she act? I mean, I guess she could. But yeah, I mean, Chappelle being there. Like, I would like to see all of them. Chappelle, Epps, Cat, Kevin Hart, and who else? It was somebody else I was thinking about. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, man. That'd be dope to have if Steve Harvey and, like, Dale Hughley was the gang that they were going against type of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, that'd be dope. Because Steve Harvey, like, he can run his own fucking crew. Like, you know what I mean?
He been there for a minute doing
it. Yeah. If it was like the OG, the Kings, and then like Cedric too, and then like they actually had the Kings of Comedy, had the gang, and that was the gang that was going against like Eddie and them. Mm-hmm. That'd be dope. I don't know who Chappelle would probably be like. He'd have to be like some old wild card mystery dude that he playing both sides and got his own thing going on in the darkness somewhere. You know what I mean? Like that type of this guy that got some info that they need. You know what I mean? He won't play like a major role. He just like some dude that you go in and get some shit and dip out.
I'm very happy to be here.
But yeah, oh man. And Mary Arsenio back too. Arsenio was trying to kill him, wasn't he? Did he die? Oh no, he didn't die, did he? His little random part just you take that part out, it does nothing to the story. Like, you know what I mean? But just having him in there, he's like rocking in the car, dude. Is hey Tommy. Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
So I'm gonna let you. Hey. That's what Eddie was king at. Just that whole. Hey, I'm gonna let you sit here. You got a lot of shit on your mind.
Bullet. Oh, I gotta go watch that movie again now. Yeah. Damn. All right, y'all. We about to get out of here. Carl about to pass out. I'm gonna go. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Sun about to come up in about an hour. So.
Oh, what time is
it? It's 4:41 a.m. What am I doing?
You got Snapchat too?
Snapchat? Nah.
You should have one.
I got rid of Snapchat and traded Snapchat for TikTok. Well, what am I doing with Snapchat? Snapchat seems to be just for people who want to cheat on their mate or something.
I follow like 4 people in there, and I don't even know what they shit.
Snapchat?
I just swipe past it, and I go straight to the stories. Like,
I didn't know Snapchat was still out there like that.
I follow these beekeepers on Snapchat. Just go around cleaning up bee hives.
Beekeepers?
I find that entertaining.
Alright. I'm just doing, mainly I do Instagram, YouTube, and then Twitch and Facebook. But Twitch, I'm just trying, I'm getting there, trying to do that monetization shit. Well, I'm trying to monetize everything, but we'll see. Alright, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Talk to y'all later. Get us some spots. We'll talk about rocks.
See you some
Until next time. Stay royal, stay loyal. Peace out.